Alright ladies and gents, how you guys doing? Welcome to Apple Weekly number 29, the show where I cover everything Apple over the past week, broadcasting on both iTunes and YouTube. And before we get started, of course, I'd like to say thanks to our sponsors, Fiberwool and Parcel Monkey. Check them out guys, links are in the description. But getting back to the stories, last week we had WWDC and I've made videos on that on a separate note, and quite long ones both on iTunes and my YouTube channel. So I'm not really going to recap what's happened because they were quite long videos. But over the past 2 or 3 days, in specific today and on the 10th of June, some good information on the MacBook Airs and the Mac Minis and the Mac Pros and the time capsules, which are kind of low in stock. They're constrained officially on the retail channels. Apple Insider spoke to an analyst, and this analyst has got a track record of being correct most of the times at least. And the thing with analysts is, it's kind of a hit or miss with them. So this analyst in specific says Apple has got MacBook Airs on the production line as of right now, as of this month. And there's 400,000 units on the production line at the moment, and this is going to be shipped by the end of the month for delivery to Apple retail channels and third-party resellers next month, which kind of means that we will be seeing MacBook Airs in the kind of same frame time as the launch of the Mac operating system OS line, of course. And here's a quite interesting thing, there's been a kind of a twist to it. Another source claims that new MacBook Airs are going to be here on Wednesday of this coming week, which I'm quite excited about if that is true. 9to5Mac did originally say yes. They have also spoken to the source, who goes by the name of Mr. X, and he says yes, there will be something being launched on Wednesday, but he can't pinpoint what it is. And in addition to that, on Tuesday night, overnight, Apple retail stores are going to have kind of black curtains, and there's going to be some changes in store, some promotional material, or some displays are being changed, or new products are being brought to the actual retail store levels, but they can't pinpoint what that is. Can it be the new MacBook Airs? Can it be time capsules? Can it be Airport? But 9to5Mac did update that post and said it looks like it's going to be promotional material for the back to school offer, which still hasn't started. I believe it is kind of late this year, starting late, so it could be that they're starting this offer with maybe a new MacBook Air or the white MacBooks, which are outdated by now. 9to5Mac also this week did say the Mac Mini servers and the Mac Pros are constrained. The stock levels of them on retail channels are quite low. They're not receiving any more shipments, which could only mean one thing, that there are new ones around the corner. When that is the question. Remember, there's been a lot of talk about the Mac Pros in the past few weeks, months, as to what Apple is going to do with them. They haven't changed the design for the past 6 or 7 years. It's essentially been the same. So could we be seeing kind of a more, smaller or more of a design change than anything? The Mac Minis, I did make a video on this in the past where I said the MacBook Air and the Mac Mini are kind of identical, both are portable, so we should be seeing kind of flash storage in the Mac Minis. Also, the analyst which Apple Insider spoke to, he said that the production levels in terms of how many are being built, 400,000 units of MacBook Airs are being built, and 55% of them are the 11-inch models, and they seem to be quite popular amongst customers. But those of you watching this video, I know there's a lot of you who have bought MacBook Airs. Which model have you got? I've got 13-inch, as you guys know. I think I like the size, bigger is always better. Yep, you can insert what I think in the comments below. But I think that figure is kind of important. 55%, I mean, I was expecting a bit more, to be honest. I thought, okay, the 11 inches are probably selling a bit more, because you've got the 13-inch MacBook Air, 13-inch MacBook Pro, and 13-inch MacBook. So I thought, okay, the 11 inches might be just selling that bit better, but they're not that much off. Which then begs the question, well, are they really going to bother changing or upgrading the MacBooks, or taking them off, or kind of replacing the 13-inch MacBook Air with, just a general 13-inch MacBook? But here's my kind of theory on the hardware. There's a lot of hardware in Apple's lineup just now that is kind of outdated. A year up line, you've got the Mac Pros, the Mac Minis, the white MacBooks, time capsules, Airport Extremes haven't been updated for a year or so as well. So is Apple really going to come out and lash the whole thing, the one bam at the one go? Unlikely. They've never done that in the past. But then again, Lion is coming up. They might want to have their entire kind of, or the most of this hardware up to date. I think we are definitely going to see MacBook Airs. My opinion, MacBook Airs definitely before or on the day Lion is launched officially next month, they would want to market this, a Lion or the next operating system, with a new MacBook Air. Another report by HardMac said that Apple really want to push this whole MacBook Air thing out. They want it to be the flagship Mac. And the way the Mac is heading, the rumours that we're hearing about the next generation MacBook Pros for next year, is going to be kind of in line with the MacBook Air in that, no super drive, thinner, kind of lighter, but still having that aspect of that Pro feature by, better CPUs, more storage, better graphics card, backlit keyboard. I hope they bring the backlit keyboard backs in the MacBook Airs. But guys, all in all, I don't know about you guys, I am excited for this coming week, whether it be MacBook Airs or not. Something is going down on Wednesday. The back to school promotion, a lot of you have been asking when it's coming. It is coming hopefully in the next few days. It'd be daft for Apple not to bring it back. Or Apple could just surprise us with new Mac Pros and Mac Minis, which I'm not really looking for, but hey, I know there's a market out for it, so you people are wanting it, of course. Wait till Wednesday, I will update you should anything progress on this matter. Now the next thing is a really cool feature in iOS 5 which has recently been discovered, and that is 1080 playback on iOS devices. Now the Apple TV, the Apple iPod Touch, the iPad, you can only view it in 720, that is the kind of highest resolution you can watch it in. But now iOS 5 has signed that you can watch it in 1080, and also if you're kind of editing movies in iMovie, you can export videos in 1080. This is quite important for the Apple TV side. When it came out, people were saying, 720, but the thing that realistically, Wi-Fi connections, the speeds weren't that great to support 1080. But hopefully by the time iOS 5 is polished, when it comes out in late September or October, quality does need to be improved, and everything with Apple is everything has to come at a right time. They don't just put it out just for the sakes of putting something out. So right time, right moment, Apple are there. And this also begs the question, okay, if they're giving us 1080p playback and exporting options, surely the next iPhone or the iPad will have 1080p cameras or really high definition cameras that capture video in 1080p, which I am quite psyched about. And when could we get the next iPhone? Hopefully September. The day after WWDC, Steve Jobs went to a city council meeting to kind of lay out plans for the next generation Apple HQ to the city council guys. He was given a standing ovation by the crowd who were surprised he was there, Steve Jobs was there, and they take out their cameras and video. There's a video of the actual city council meeting, I'll leave in the description, and this is one of the videos which I would recommend you watching. It is quite kind of good, and it was just funny how the questions which the city council guys were asking Steve Jobs, it was like, is this really happening? Is this honestly really happening? They was asking stupid questions. Steve Jobs was there, he proposed, put out plans, and it looks amazing. Here is a picture of the next Apple Cupertino HQ, and as Steve Jobs says, this looks like a spaceship has landed in Cupertino. I think it would have been more interesting if Apple went with more of an Apple design. This looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it would be cool if they would go something with the brand logo, Apple. That would have been nice. And also the interesting thing is the glass which is used all around this spaceship per se is all kind of great technology or new technology. Not a single piece is straight, so it's all kind of bent glass. And of course we've seen this bent glass in Apple stores recently, the Apple store in Shanghai, China. But it's going to house 12,000 employees, that is correct, 12,000 employees, that is absolutely insane. And of course the city council can say, you're not coming here, because every council wanted Apple to come into their own kind of city. And Apple chose to stay within Cupertino where they've always been, and they've just, a few months ago, they took over HP's land, but that wasn't too big. The rate which Apple is growing, so this isn't just going to come overnight, this is going to be planned for 2015. This building or this campus will get ready by 2015. So hopefully by that time Apple would have been growing even more. So just to sum it up, I would highly recommend you watch a city council meeting because it's quite good, and it's 20 minutes long, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed Steve Jobs giving a presentation. This next story is quite interesting. iPad 2s being recalled. Only a small amount according to Apple. Basically some of the iPad 2s, the 3G versions that were being manufactured, some of them had the same unique identifier codes in them, so they were matching. So 2 or more iPad code identifiers were matching, and in essence the 3G service wasn't working. So before these iPad 2s were being delivered to customers, they were just going back to Apple's depot. So TNT and FedEx, some of the trucks, delivery trucks, were just bringing them back to Apple, or some that were going to the final destination to the customer's house, they were being turned back to delivery depots. I'm surprised there wasn't much of a hoo-ha about it. I thought the media would absolutely slate Apple for it, but Apple PR came up front with the WSJ, the Wall Street Journal, and they said that only a small amount of iPad 2s were affected. What that small amount of the millions they've sold, I do not know how many have been affected, but if you have been affected, leave it in the comments. That would be pretty interesting. If you work for an Apple retail store or pretty much any Apple business unit, and if you have any tips or hints or any kind of news on upcoming product launches and you'd like to share it with me, leave a comment below or get in touch by email, and your information will be kept safe. And the last story today is on iOS 5. Of course, iOS 5 has been developers for the past week, just after WWDC, and a new feature has been discovered, and this is absolutely amazing because this is what I kind of wanted, even although I didn't put it into my iOS 5 wishlist. Now this feature is custom vibrations. Now basically, at the moment you've only got one standard vibration at one level, and sometimes when I'm kind of sleeping, I've got my alarm on, it just goes absolutely insane, at that level. It's too loud. It'd be nice to kind of lower that, have custom patterns, have patterns for maybe tweets or direct messages. You get a one instead of quite a lot of them. For text messages you can customize that as well, or you can assign vibrations depending on who is calling you. So if Steve Jobs is calling me, it will just go mental if you choose to do so. But overall, what I've seen from iOS 5 online so far is absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait for them to come out. If you are testing iOS 5 online, what is your favourite feature? What are you looking forward to? I've got a few videos up online because I have been testing that on my MacBook Air. If you haven't seen them, you can click on the screen to go view them. But other than that, guys, it's kind of been a slow news week, other than the huge MacBook Air and the hardware updates that are coming. But guys, other than that, that is it for this week in Apple. You can join me on iGlaswegian.com, follow me on twitter.com/i6glaswegian. Any more updates to the hardware side, I will update you on Twitter. Also got a Facebook fan page, facebook.com/iGlaswegian. And guys, I will, as always, see you guys in another life. Cheers!